and welcome back to my channel. This is take number 555,365,275 times. Okay, I did the whole video, laid it out, all that, and when I went to edit it, it's still edited down to an hour. No, ma'am, not for a story time. No, ma'am. And I was gonna do two parts. Yeah, no, ma'am. I would have had to do three parts, and I might still do that. But anyway, depending on how this will come out, but we're gonna retry it. And if this is the one you see, then you know that 555,375,475,300. Yeah, no. Okay, this story is, you read the title, A Couple Trips from Hell. Now, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to go back and hear about the Airbnb that we was at, I think I did a story time on that one back in the day. But watch this one first and then go back and watch that one and you get some clarity. However, let's get started, shall we? I never have to name people in my story times because usually this is me and my husband that travel together. It's some randoms. But this time we happen to bring in a group of people. Now, there is another story time that actually can come before the story time. There was a couple's trip. There wasn't a couple's trip, or was a couple's trip. But yeah, I'm going to do that one on another side. But this couple trip was actually a couple's trip. That wasn't started out as a couple's trip, but ended as a couple's trip. Yeah. Let's go. We going to name everybody. It's me and my husband. It's just going to be me and hubby. That's what we're going to name us. Okay. Then there was another couple, which we're going to name the unhappy newlyweds. The bride and the groom. Okay? Then, and actually, I had a whole nother name for them on the other story time, but that's what we're going to stay with this time. And then we had the engaged couple. Yes, engaged happy lady and engaged happy man. I think that's nice names. Y'all think so? Yeah. Okay, so that's the names of everybody. Now that we got this pleasantries out the way, let's get started, shall we? This trip started out being a trip for me and hubby, going to a resort and bringing in a new year like we always do. But my friend, Bride, let's call her Bridezilla. Bridezilla called and she married, but she just got married. She only been married, they newlyweds. Okay, they newlyweds. They were going through the newlywed-ish. So Bridezilla called me and she said, no, that's not nice, Bride. Bride called me and she said, oh, I'm just going through, it's just so much. And I was like, you know what, friend? Why don't you come with us out in the country, wash away that whole this bad year and start it off fresh, smelling some new air, bring in the new year a little better than last year. Since you're going through so much, let's just cleanse it like we do. Let's do that. How about you just get your airplane tickets? I'll get the Airbnb, and we just gonna have a party. We just gonna boom, and we just gonna leave the drama here in the States. Okay, that was my plan, you guys. Oh, y'all can't see everybody background back there. But I said, she was like, oh, that sounds great, but let me check some stuff, get with hubby, and, we'll decide if that's what we're going to do. Cool, because we have been talking about, we all need to go on vacation together and have a little side. Okay, this will be the one, the new year, bringing the new year. This trip go good, we'll be tripping together, right? Right, okay. Moving right along. So I went ahead, hung up with her. She said, but let me talk to hubby before, you do anything. I said, okay, cool. So I said to my hubby, it's going to be fabulous. And he said, as long as I have a good time, because I like to party for New Year's. Because he likes to party for New Year's. So, farther along, let's fast forward, y'all. Because we ain't trying to have another hour video. I said 15 minutes and we almost at 5. Fast forward, y'all. She finally said, okay, we can go. So I canceled the resort I had and booked the Airbnb. Now, remind you, when she stated that we only had like 3, maybe 4 weeks before the new year, okay? So When I canceled it to look for the Airbnb, Airbnbs was going. They were going. Like people was booking for the new year. Okay, so the first one that I had all picked out and everything was actually gone. Time, she told me, but it was only a couple of days left, maybe later that she told me. So hubby was like, y'all playing, y'all need to get it together. So I was like, okay, fine, that one's gone. Let's look. Let's look. Well, we want to go and party anyway, so let's get close to what we call Coco Bunga. Coco Bunga is, if you don't know, it's like a party spot. They have live music and all this for New Year's. They had a big to do for New Year's. So I was like, yes, this is where we're going for New Year's. So stroll it down Airbnb, found an Airbnb that's it right next door to Coco Bunga. Perfect. We could stumble on home right next door to Coco Bunga. Cool, it is what it is. So I went ahead and booked it. It was three bedrooms, two and a half baths, like a townhouse. I was like, plenty enough room. It's 4 couples. We Gucci. Okay. So the next day, Bride called me, and Bride said, "Hey, I called to ask you. I asked another couple if they wanted to come with us. Now they related to, well, the guy is related to her husband. So we wanted to know if they can come." And I said, "Sure." And actually, that works out fine because we got 3 bedrooms. So yes, not a problem. You need no tax. We all good. Okay. All right. Everybody's good. Everybody's good. They got their plane ticket. Everybody's wonderful. Okay. Okay. So in the process of me making sure everything's good, because Bride said, make sure you send me the pictures of the Airbnb so I can know what we looking like when we gone. I said, okay. So I sent them the pictures of the Airbnb. She said, okay, it's okay. Because they had a plunge pool. They didn't have a ground pool or whatever. That's what I was kind of shady about. But it was close to Coco Bonga, and that's where I wanted to be. All right. Fast forward. And we had 7 minutes already, y'all. And I wanted 15 minutes, God dog. But anyway, so we get, so fast forward, I contacted the host just to make sure we was next to Coco Bunga, and I also contacted the chef to make sure we was gonna have a chef, and cause I know Bride, yeah, she likes the fabulousness. Me and hubby, we like the laid backness, and then the other couple, they like to go with the flowness. Well, yeah. So we were like, I'm just gonna make this, cause extra Bride is extra, so we gonna make sure we extra for Bride, because we could just go with the flow. But Bride, she don't like to just go with the flow. But she said she was gonna just go with the flow. But I wanted to make sure everybody was good. So I contacted the chef and I contacted the host to make sure we were where we were supposed to be. We were gonna have the chef and we were gonna be good. The first chef canceled and sent me my deposit back because he was like, New Year's, no. The second chef I booked said, okay. Well, I didn't want to tell nobody. I didn't want to tell Bride. I didn't want to tell nobody. Because when I had told them about the first chef and I told them that they canceled, they was just super excited. When they heard they canceled, they was like, oh. So I went ahead and booked the next chef. And I didn't even tell my husband that I had booked the next chef. But I had him booked, okay? I had him booked for 3 days. Because it was each day. So I had him booked for 3 days to come out. And that was New Year's Day. Because New Year's Eve, we was going to be out and about all day. So New Year's Day to wake us up. The day after New Year's Day and the day after that. 3 days, okay? Because I knew some days we wanted to go out and, eat and explore, whatever, okay? Okay. So, dang, we had 9 minutes, only got 5 minutes left, and I said I didn't tell you all the good part. So, anywho, so I didn't tell them about the chef. And when I called the host told me that she was not next door to Coco Bunga. The ad said she was. She was actually 5-minute drive from Coco Bunga. I said, well, 5-minute drive, we could walk it, we all good. And she was like, nah, it's got construction and everything, you can't walk it. I said, well, you said right next door on your ad. And she was like, yeah, but it was wrong. So I was going to take my money back and find somewhere else. However, I wanted to be next to Coco Bunga. I should have, because what was the odds of me calling her to ask her this before we got there, and it already said it in the ad. I should have just went with what the ad says. Usually that's what I do. But I know I was going with Bride, so Bride wants to make sure everything is everything. So That's what I did and realized it wasn't next door, and I should have moved right then and there. When the hostess told me she'll just give me my money back to move, and I should have, but I didn't. I was like, you know what? Everything happens for a reason. Maybe it was meant for us to be there. Okay, so everything happens for a reason. So we went ahead and we flew into the place. But let me back up a little bit before I tell you we flew into the place. We also had decided to all ride together to the airport because the other two couples they were on the same flight. And me and my husband was on the flight, but all our flight times were about the same. So we were gonna all ride to the airport together. Bride lived around the corner from me, maybe about a mile and a half away from me. A block for some people is right around by, but no, it's about a mile and a half from me. And the other couple was about maybe 7 miles away, 6, 7 miles away, going towards the airport. Okay, so she was like, okay, so we all gonna ride together. Perfect. She's like, say bye, pick y'all up, then we'll go pick up the engaged couple, then we'll head to the airport. Perfect. That was a couple of days before we left. So cool, we all good. But everything happens for a reason, okay? So the day before, Bride calls me and she says, how about we all just meet at engaged house. And that way, we'll leave from there. Well, I was like, nah, because I don't like to leave my car away from my house when I'm gone on vacation. I travel a lot. So I tend to take an Uber to the airport. I don't park my car at the airport. So I was like, nah, y'all go ahead. Because we had to figure out bags and all that other stuff. I said, y'all go ahead and we'll just, take an Uber to the airport. That was flag one for some people, but for me, it was what it was. I don't see nothing wrong with it. Do you see anything wrong with it? If you see anything wrong with it, leave it down in the comments. So they go ahead and they go to the airport. We go to the airport, but everything happens for a reason because that morning, I had got a new credit card a week before, but I left it sitting on the table, and I usually put my travel credit card in my safe. And so when I went to take my travel credit card out of my safe and put in my purse to leave, was about to leave, I had to book the Uber. So I went ahead and booked the Uber. Now the Uber, on my Uber device, is the card that I use to travel. So when I went to put it in the order the Uber, it came back check payment. I'm like, check payment? What are you talking about? So I went to do it again, and then I went to my wallet, my thing to see why, but the card was expired. And it was telling me to put in a new expiration date. And because my new card had came, and I was like, oh shoot, where's my new card? So my husband was like, because he brings the bags out and he puts them in front of the door for when the Uber comes, and usually it takes about 5 minutes. Time he gets everything out, get our coffee, everything, the Uber is there. That's usually how our traveling day usually goes. So anyway, so he's, in the front of the house, he was like, hey, Uber not here yet, how long? And I said, I can't book it. Like, yeah, my credit card's saying wrong number and I can't find my credit card. So he was like, oh, it's in the kitchen on the table. I was like, oh yeah. So he said, let me go ahead and book this Uber. So I'm getting another credit card because now I have to update this credit card and my ATM because it was credit card and the ATM both for the bank. They both expired at the same time. So I was going ahead and putting in the information to activate my card or whatever. And so I was good to go. So I looked at my husband. I said, so he went ahead and ordered it. He said, it's about 10 minutes away. I said, oh, let's run to the ATM machine because when I activate my debit card sometime, and the first time I'm going to be using these cards is going to be in DR. And I don't want them to give me a problem. So let's run to the ATM and to the gas station and use them real quick so they won't, flag them with them being used first time out of the country. So he was like, okay, let's go. So we put our bags back in the house, ran to the gas station, and luckily I did because when I put my card into that ATM machine, it sent me a text message and it stated that thank you for activating your card, and they will remove the hold off of your card. No, first it asked me, was this me? And I put yes. And once I put yes, they said, okay, hold will be released off of your card. They put a hold on my card because when I went to activate it, instead of pressing the 7 for my number, I pressed the 6. So what it did was it put a hole on my card. So when I went to the ATM, put it in, and put in the debit card number, it released the hole. I didn't even realize I had put a wrong number in. But when I started pressing it and I realized it, I knew that's what I had did. So with them putting a hole on my card, if I wouldn't have to get the Uber, I would have left with the wrong traveling cards, even though my husband always bring an extra card, but these was our travel cards. And I would have been a little pissed because the interest rate is cheaper on this card than it is on that card. But anywho, that's another here and there, and I'm already at 15 minutes and I haven't even gotten to the trip. Anyway, so I'm trying to talk fast, y'all, so I could get all this information because you need the little bitty details. But everything, if you remember, if you take nothing else from this story time, takes everything happens for a reason. Okay? Everything. You might not understand it, you might try to change it. Don't. Everything happens for a reason. Okay? Back that. So got back to the house. When we got back to the house, the Uber driver had called and said that he was trying to find my address. So we had just pulled in the driveway. So I saw him like circling about. I'm like, okay, we're right here. So he came up, perfect timing. Everything worked out. Everything happens for a reason. Get to the airport, check in, everything. Get to our gate, everything. Contacted the other couple, make sure they were good. They were good. Headed to the layover. We had a short layover. Everybody. Got when I got to the layover, I called to make sure the car was going to be there. Gave them our number. Everything was everything. So I get to the DR. I'm telling the driver that picked us up. We had to walk about a block to get to him. But I called the driver, told him, once he got us, once we walked that block to him, we had to go to the other terminal to get the other people. We told him, we were like, look, just bring us to get food. Like, everybody has been traveling all day. I'm trying to be the hostess with the mostest. Let's go get some food, That's where we going first. Food and drinks. Right? Okay? Okay. So he brings us to pick up the group. And they had been there about maybe 20 minutes. And they're sitting at this restaurant in front of the hotel. They eat, they drinking, they having a ball. So I'm like, dang, y'all, okay, let me just grab some food from here and then, we be on our way. No harm, no foul, because everybody was hungry, everybody thirsty, everybody was traveling, but hey, works fine, everybody good, everybody got their biz and they good. So we head to the Airbnb. Get to the Airbnb, everybody getting their stuff out, paid the driver, we all good. We go in, I run to pick my room. Yeah, I did. I got the master room. But I was a little shady about that. But I ain't care. I got the master room. Yes, I did. So, got this master room. Everything is everything except for the bed was janky. Anyway, look at the Airbnb from here. Anywho, so we all come in. We all like, woo woo. So, contact the ride. Told everybody, okay, let's do dinner about 7, 8 o'clock. So everybody get comfortable and everybody happy, like, yeah, vacation, woo, 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 yeah, everybody good. All right, tonight everybody be dressed, we gonna go get dinner. Okay, so everybody, got dressed, went to dinner that night. We had a great dinner. The first night was fabulous. No bickering, no problem. Damn, I'm at 19 minutes. Y'all, I'm sorry. So, first night was great. Dinner was a hit. We stopped, got groceries, came back, everything was a hit. Got back, I got a message from the cook that said he was canceling. So I hadn't told anybody, but I was a little bummed out about it because I wanted to surprise everybody with the chef. But he canceled the last minute, and I still didn't want to tell anybody, but I was just a little bummed out about that. But it was what it was. I told my husband, he was like, well, everything happens for a reason. Yeah, it does, but, still. So anyway, everybody was still going with the flow. Nobody was tripping. I was really bummed out about it, but it was what it was. The next day, December 31st, which was the whole reason for the trip, New Year's Eve. This was the whole gist of a trip. We contacted Coco Bunga again, me and Brad, and um, they were completely sold out. There was no seats. We found maybe two on one side, two on the other, I think. But I found two on one side, two on the other side, but we had six people. So it didn't work. So we bumped it. We looked up and we found this other place that had, it was a restaurant and then they had a club there. So we was like, okay, that's what we're gonna do. So that morning, Bride pregame the whole morning. She was pregaming, drinking, having a ball. She was pregaming. I didn't want no shots. I didn't want to get messed up. I didn't want nothing till New Year's. So we were all like, okay, we all want to be straight for New Year's. But we all, was downstairs, breakfast. I think Bride's husband fixed breakfast, and everybody was like copacetic, cool. Everybody ready for the night. Everything is good. Everything is good. That night, everybody about maybe noon or so, everybody went to take a nap. Maybe, no, I take that back. It had to be about 3 o'clock. Everybody went to take a nap because the party was New Year's. That was the whole purpose, New Year's. So everybody went to take a nap. Everybody. The house was quiet. I got up, no, maybe we might have went about 2, maybe 3, I don't know. But I got up at 6. And I was the only one up, and the reason I know I was the only one up because the house was so quiet and dark. I went, took a shower, laid out my clothes, took my makeup out, sat it down they had a long big mirror. That was the only good thing about this room. It had a long big mirror. I set my clothes my makeup by the mirror. I laid my clothes that I was going to wear to make sure it was straight. I took my husband's clothes out. Like we were Gucci, ready to go. And I was about to sit down to start to doing my makeup. Okay? So by this time it's almost 7. So I said at 7 o'clock I'm going to wake up everybody. But in the midst of me saying that and looking at the time, I had like maybe 15, 20 minutes. Because I did some other stuff, make sure everything was in place and everything. When I looked at the time, I said, actually it was 6:45. I said 7 o'clock I'm gonna wake up everybody. So I was about to sit down to do my makeup, and I heard and all the lights went. My husband jumped up. What time it is? I said it's almost 7 o'clock. I was gonna wake everybody up for 7 o'clock, but all the lights was out, and it was pitch dark. So somebody was in the shower. It was the other couple. The engaged lady was in the shower. The bride and hubby was still sleeping. But when she screamed, it woke up Bride. So Bride was like, what's going on? What's going on? Where the lights? Where the lights? What's going on? The lights went out. And when the lights went out, it made the water cold because it was on power. So that's why the other lady screamed. So she said she finished taking a cold shower. I don't know what was going on out there. I was still a little extra sweet. My husband got up. He was like, so what, the ride was supposed to be, our ride was supposed to be there at 8:30. So I thought an hour and a half would have gave everybody. Hindsight, I should have got everybody up about 6:30. But, I just kind of figured 7 o'clock would have been a good time for everybody to get dressed. Because it was for 8:30 that our ride was going to be. So, everybody kind of started moving around, kind of upset that the lights was out. So it was like, and I'm thinking, well, they should be back on in a minute. So I'm just sitting on the side of the bed with a towel, clothes on the side, and I'm trying to wait. So by 7:45, a whole hour later, it started getting hot. Power hadn't came back on now. Actually, back up a little bit, when engaged lady screamed, the water had got cold. Then she screamed again. The water had went completely off. So there was no water, no electricity, and nobody dressed to leave. Okay. So by 8:15, my husband had jumped up. By 8 o'clock, he was like, screw this. He had thrown on his clothes, he was going like that. So I put on my clothes, Because at this point of the whole situation, we need to leave. So, bride is screaming and hollering. She's telling her husband, look, bring some bottle of water, something. I need to get dressed, whatever, whatever. So, groom brings her some water to help her, like, kind of, freshen up so we can leave. And they go from 0 to 100 real quick. They get to arguing, they get to fussing, they get to, it's just was nasty. They just was arguing just ridiculously. And it escalated really bad. So, and I knew it was the tension from no power and the water, it was tension. So, at this point, I'm steadily hitting up the host, like, what is going on? Is it in the area? What is going on? So she's apologizing, blah, 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 blah. So the driver gets there. So my hubby, engaged to be groom, and bride's groom, all three of the men go to entertain the driver while us ladies try to figure out life. Okay, so we trying to use like flashlights, our lights off of our phone, to kind of try to do makeup. Bride is like keep going off because her and hubby got into it. She was just done. It was just, tensions was high. So we were like, you know what? I'm trying to calm her down. Like, look, this is frustrating, blah, 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 blah. And I'm feeling bad because I'm supposed to be the hostess with the mostest, but they're not no power. So, and I'm feeling like it's my fault because if the power was on, they wouldn't have got into it and he wouldn't have been, no. So they're going back and forth, still back and forth. Finally got him downstairs, her, doing her makeup and everything. And she's like going really slow. Time she finishes like 9:30, almost 10. So everybody's like really like, come on, we trying. We can't do nothing with no power. So finally the ladies, all of us, get downstairs. Everybody gets in the car. And we head to our destination. But in the process of us going to our destination, the guys had already bucked the driver up to stop somewhere else. So they stopped somewhere else and did something else. And my friend started pre-gaming again. And as she was pre-gaming again, the guys came out. We got back in the car. She was pre-gaming with some guys she had just met. I don't know. But anywho, we all get back in the car and we head to our destination. Get to our destination, have dinner, and go to party. And bride and groom are still not speaking. But we're still trying to have a good time. So we go, Happy New Year come. We're like, okay, y'all gonna tell each other Happy New Year. How is them? Okay, so y'all still not in a great mood, whatever. We have a good time, but we cut it short so we could head back to the Airbnb because they wasn't in a good mood. But my husband was like, whoa, I didn't know that. This was his party time. Y'all done fucked up his party time. So anyway, we get back. Everybody's just like, blah. Because everybody's just, we don't feel pretty. I think if the lights wouldn't have went off, everybody would have felt pretty. We would have had a good, I think we would have had a little more, we would have been a little more optimal, but it just wasn't. So, when we get back, the lights were on. Thank goodness. So, everybody's just like, blah. So, we go to sleep or whatever, and the next day, bride and groom are at each other's throat again. So I try to talk to bride and groom to try to get to some realization on what is going on. Why do we have to be like this? So the guys are like, we don't want to hear y'all cackling hens. Husband like, my wife is trying to actually get something. I'm like, what? You know what? It is what it is. We just want y'all to stop arguing. Why? So we decide, you know what? Let's just cut the ice. My friend, she pre-gamed again just to get it off her mind. She fell asleep. So everybody was like, let's just go and do something. I was like, yeah, let's hit the casino, hit a beach. Let's just make the best of the day. So I went to, everybody went to get dressed and everything. And I went to wake up my friend, and everybody's like, why? Why are you waking her up? The guys are like, why are you waking her up? She's mad. And I'm like, so? She's mad, but she's coming. So she came. We had a great time at the casino, drinking, then hit the beach. The waves was kind of heavy. It was Kind of not that pretty out there, but that was okay. We had dinner, and then we headed back to the house. Back to the house, everything was everything, but they still wasn't speaking. Okay, so the next day, they still wasn't speaking, but they decided to do some walks. We decided to do some talking, just chilling. Had some game days and a movie day. Just made it. You know, but some people said it was like evacuating for the hurricane because we all just sitting in the house. But we did because it was the last official day for everybody to be there because the couple was actually leaving the next day. So, well, the next day. So it was like, okay, it is what it is at this point. So we had the movie night or whatever, and the next day they had to go take their COVID test, and we were gonna go out shopping and everything that day once they came back from doing their COVID test. So went to bed. The next day we got up, and it's been 30 minutes, y'all. We got up and they went to take their COVID test, so we waited around and everything and decided what we want to do and everything. And they came back, and I came down to talk to my friend Bride, and I'm like, okay. She was like, oh, I'm so glad to be leaving. I'm so glad to be leaving. Oh, you don't know how glad I am to leave. Oh, right, great, okay. Oh, I can't wait to get to the States. Oh, okay. Um, I should not have called it drama bride. That's what we're gonna call it. Oh, just can't wait. This is horrible. This is the worst vacation ever. Fine, fuck you do. I mean, so I was like, okay. So I was like, got your COVID test back? Your bags packed? You ready to leave? You did right? So she said, COVID test back. I'm going home. I'm going home. I'm going home. I'm going home. I said, okay, let's have a drink, shall we? So, in the process of her celebrating, her husband comes down the stairs, and I say to him, hey, you got your COVID test? Yes, but I'm positive. He's a jokester, so I said, yeah, right. And she says, he's not joking, he's serious. I said, girl, he plays all day. He's a jokester. Whatever, dude, whatever. No, seriously. No, seriously. I have COVID. What? Are you freaking kidding me? Huh? When? How? Who? When? Who did it? So, she's like, oh my God, I cannot go back. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't know what to do. Oh my God. I said, wait. It could be a faulty test. Wait. But we need to find out if anybody else has COVID. So, I made a consecutive decision that we were all going to take COVID tests. Yes, me and the other couple, the bride and groom was leaving the day before us. The rest of us were leaving the following day after them. But our day to take COVID test was the following day. But I was like, no, we need to know who's all have it, who all don't, so who needs to isolate and who does not at this point. Okay? So we all need to go, and we need to find out if that test was even accurate. Okay? So let's all call the cab and all go take a COVID test. Everybody agreed. Yes, that's a great idea. Because at this point, we don't know what's the next move for anybody. Because if somebody else has COVID, then they have to stay back. We need to isolate from them. Just all different things. So we were like, okay, call the cab, run, get dressed, let's go take this COVID test. So we all mask up, get in the Uber driver's car, the cab, and go take a test. So we get to this beautiful location. They have shopping and everything to take a COVID test. We take a COVID test, and everybody is okay to go back home, except still the groom. So, let me take a sip, y'all, because this has been over 35 minutes. So, we find out that you have to stay 10 days. So, we go ahead and decide that me and my husband decide we're going to stay. The other couple said they would stay, but hold on, people looking at me really weird, y'all. I'm gonna have to edit that out. But anyway, other people say they would stay. The other couple said they would stay, but 10 days was a lot. So, bride, wasn't sure. But she was like, you know what, if I leave, I'll just be no good. I just would not be right. So I'm gonna stay. Okay. So we decide, you know what, if we stay, we're gonna stay. We're gonna get another Airbnb and we're gonna be by the airport, by the beach, and we're just gonna do it as part 2 of vacation. So I thought everything was good. But then I started feeling sick. I don't know why, but I started feeling sick. But I was like, you know what? I'm a bump it. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. They said I don't have COVID, but I don't feel right. But I don't have COVID, but I don't feel right. Okay. So the other couple leaves the next day. Well, the next day, no, they were still there. They made sure they went out. They went sightseeing and taking another COVID test so they could, leave the next day. And we just stood around, kind of trying to stay away from the hubby, the bride's hubby. And yeah, so we just tried to chill. Booked the other place. We stayed at this place 2 more days, sightseeing around there a little bit, and then went to the other place. The bride still was not happy. She was not happy. But when we got to the other place, she was ecstatic. She was enjoying herself, but I was sick. I didn't tell anybody because I still wanted to be that, but I just couldn't keep my eyes open. My body ached. Then my cycle came, and it just wasn't. It wasn't giving what it was supposed to give. Okay, it was tomatoes. So got past those few couple of days of in pain, but still tried to be a trooper. Then they wanted to party and stuff, and I just couldn't get out of bed. I did a couple of nights of dinner with them, and I was like, you know what? I'm not feeling well either. But we didn't want to be like, oh, y'all, we so sick. Oh, my God. We're not feeling good. The groom said, ooh, what's wrong with you? Why you look like that? Your wife. I said, I don't know why I'm looking like that. You look horrible. Okay. Thanks. Appreciate it. But I was really sick. And so my friend said, ooh, you look like you're sick. I am. But y'all want to go out to eat? Y'all want to go walk? Y'all want to go do something? We about to go to the beach. Okay. We about to go parasailing. Okay. I went back upstairs. I'll be out back in the bed. I'll back in the bed and went to sleep. We did for the next few days because we wasn't feeling well. We finally leave the DR. And we were supposed to all ride together. We was on the same flight, everything. We were going to all ride back from the airport home. And my friend said, oh, yeah, I'll just go. We're going to catch another flight. And that was pretty much the last time I talked to bride and groom. So if I'm wrong, please leave it in the comments. But yeah, it was so much more, y'all. But we had 40 minutes, and I just can't. It's exhausting and dragging.